Okay, back again for part two here. This is the reconditioning of the 24-hour flip on a 2005 Ford Ranger 4x4. This is going to be one of the easier cars to recondition. The reason being is that A, there's really nothing wrong with it mechanically that I know of. Sure, it's an older truck and maybe there's a few things that could be replaced here and there, but at least from my own conscience standpoint, I would feel good about putting anyone in this truck and having it be a safe and reliable vehicle for them, because I've been able to test it out enough and look through it enough to see that it is in good mechanical condition. Cosmetically, it's really not too terribly bad, but the closer you get and the more detailed you look, it does need some work in some different areas here. Again, if you didn't watch the first video, which was a little bit long and winding, this is a Ranger I bought for $4,500. I have every intention of selling it for about $6,500, and I believe that's going to happen really quickly. So after making the buy on this, negotiating it down from $5,000 to $4,500, now it's really time to get it ready and more marketable for the next person, where they're going to see more value in this truck than it does as it sits today. One of the big things that I do on almost every single car that I resell is work with the headlights. And so for that reason, I have a headlight restoration kit here. This is not one I've used before. I've used several different ones. I like to kind of try them all. I'm not sponsored by any of these because like 4 people watch my videos and I don't edit them. But I wanted to show some of the different tools that I'm going to be using on this one on a really, really simple cleanup. Just some car wash, some detail spray. I like using a gel type tire dressing as it tends to stay on there a little bit longer and look better. Back to Black is for any sort of black trim, black plastics that may be a little bit faded. The truck is 19 years old after all. And then lastly, just some interior detail spray, some Armor All, just to have the inside look nice and shiny. I'm not going to spend a great deal of time on the outside, which is a little bit rare for me because I am pretty big on paint correction. Most vehicles that I purchase with the intent of selling kind of quickly, I will use a clay bar on it, I'll use a rubbing compound, I will wax it, and typically spend 3 to 4 hours on just that element of it, because paint can be so important. The reason I'm not going to do that on this truck is because it's a work truck and it has a lot of cosmetic issues that are going to look the same no matter what I do. So I showed this in my first video. There's some homemade paint correction on this. There's places where, as this used to be a city truck, there used to be decals, for instance. There's places where the paint is just simply falling off. This was a common issue with white Fords of this era. There's a little bit of surface rust as we look around, more blemishes here. Now, could I make these look better? Yes, but I don't see a good return on doing those kinds of activities, because this is such a simple truck that is going to be used for construction work or going up on overlanding expeditions, things like that. Whoever buys this truck is not going to care so much about the little imperfections. They just want it to look good from far away and be clean. So that's really my goal here, is get this so it's going to look good in pictures, and then have the interior look clean and inviting so that someone isn't grossed out by getting in this and wants to actually spend time in it. So I'm probably going to put almost just as much focus on the inside, even though it's a very small cabin in here. Things I'm going to be doing in here, I'm going to remove these seat covers because they are kind of dirty up close. This is from me, dog hair. And I'm going to expose the well-preserved charcoal cloth seats that are underneath it. I'm going to take care of the dash and all the plastics in here, making sure that they get nice and clean and look shiny. And then I'm going to pull the mats off, spray those out, spray some detail spray on those as well, along with these kind of hard surfaces on the floors here. Most cars are going to have floor mats, of course. This being more of a work truck, it's a nice kind of sprayable surface that's really easy to clean. Now, what I do have to be careful of in this one is there's this onboard power inverter, so I have to be careful not to get that wet. It's really gross and grimy up close, so that's going to take me a few minutes just to, you know, run a toothpick through there and do a little more fine cleaning. Not much to do back here, but one thing I do want to do, and it's not as evident on this window, but if I go around to the passenger side, someone very much did a homemade tint job on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this get some hot Colorado sun, and then I'm going to take a credit card and just push some of these bubbles off to the edges and out, hopefully, so that that can look a little bit better as well. After that, we should have a pretty photogenic truck. I'm going to take lots of photos from different angles, showcase how clean it is, how straight the body is, and that should attract a lot of buyers in a very quick amount of time. So now it's time to get started.